one of his connections comes kind of close by, and he literally starts whispering, and then he making eyes all across the room all the time, like it's looking like I want to talk but I can't.
Are you insinuating when I was over there? Because
I called it last week when I said Cardi has signed his fate after he had the falling out with the girls when they were trying to dig deeper with him. Sadly, it seems most of the girls came in with an idea of what they wanted in a guy, and because they didn't get it, this is why they're sort of kicking guys left, right, and center. I think Cardi came across as a sweet guy, and I think if people were being very intentional about the type of guy they wanted, they would have dug deeper with him and got to know who he is as a man. I think he would have made someone a great partner. And I don't know whether it's because he didn't want to open up too much on TV or what exactly happened. I don't get it. And then the Lauren and Dom situation is very uncomfortable. It's becoming competitive sport, and I hate this on romantic shows. This happens a lot on Love is Blind, and now it's happening on Ready to Love because there was no need for Dom to react the way she reacted. Neither was there any need for Lauren to make the comments that she made because Lauren wanted to be picked, and that's it. She just wants to be picked. She just wants someone to like her and say, I like you. And this is why she's falling out with the guys. Sadly for Steven, I think his indecisiveness is the reason why he was dumped. I don't think he should have been dumped. But anyway, it is what it is. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Ready to Love, Season 11, Episode 10. So you have Tommy meet up with the guys, and they're sort of discussing the girls to see who they feel is not ready to love. The guys' opinions, well, it was really... What can I say? Anyway, Cardi said he really likes Ashley and he really likes Dom. I think he liked Dom, just the idea of... I think Ashley has this idea of the man that she wants because had she been open to something that's not what's a normal type, she would have gone for Cardi because I will take Cardi any day over Darius. Dom has been set on Bellow since day one, so it's just a waste of time. Bellow on his part said he likes Dom and he likes Ashanti. I think Ashanti is just a plan B. I think she's just there because maybe production like her, and so they want her to be the mystery to see whether she'll be the one that Bellow picks or whether it's Dom. Do I think Bellow sees a long-term relationship with Dom? No, but I think he sees a very sort of physical, sexual relationship with her. Darius on his part, he says, he really likes Ashley. Ashley is the only one who's bitten into whatever he's selling. So there's no one else he would have picked because all the other girls were put off by him and never looked back. And Ashley seems to be the only one who's paid him attention. So he says she's genuine and she's passionate. Surprised? No. Vince said his is Donna. Am I surprised? No. Because they really get along very well. He likes the fact that she's high IQ and that she challenges him academically and to be a better person. So I love that for them. Steven says, he and Donna, they share the same passions. Steven was undecided. I think he was just looking for anyone to save him, and there was a man drowning, and he was just looking for anyone who would bite to whatever he was trying to sell. So the guys then are left by Tommy to decide who they pick as those not ready to love. They end up with Shannon. Not surprised with Shannon. I think the stunt she pulled when she tried to interfere between Donna and sort of Steven was her downfall because the other guys, they really said she wasn't it for them. They said there was no romantic connection. You had Bellow, Darius, and Steven all said there was no romantic connection. The fact that she interfered was something else, and that she was giving sister vibes. Lauren, on her part, you had Vince, Cardi, and Bellow say, she's giving confused vibes and she wants a ranking system whereby she wants to know that she's your number one. And if she's not your number one, then there is a problem. Steven was called out to pick who he is, the guys that decided on. He said the guys decided on Shannon. So Shannon then walked out and he had to follow her to just check in and just see how she is. I think because he really liked her, but her antics or her theatrics is what put him off. During their conversation, you had Steven say to Shannon, I am growing as a person. I've learned a lot from you. I've learned not to be reactive and that I need to be more reflective on whatever I do, which I think that would have made a great couple had she not been too intense. And I feel sorry for her. I empathize, and I am with Steven that nobody wants to see anyone cry. So it's really sad that she had to go home, but her guy wasn't in the show. Her guy wasn't in the show, and sadly, she lost Steven with the theatrics. Had she mellowed down a bit, I think she would have kept him. So once Tommy left, you had Lauren sit down for a conversation with Stephen. And Stephen was saying to her, I feel really bad that someone has gone home. And I think Stephen sitting down with Lauren was because he was trying to sort of answer the questions she had as to why she was in the bottom two. We all know she wants to be somebody's number one. And because she was very dismissive and very abrupt with some of the guys at the start, I think this has put off a lot of people because of how she spoke about other guys. What was his name that she called, he's giving granddad vibes or he's giving dad vibes. So for her to then complain that, I don't want to feel like second choice, I want someone to step up and sort of be all about me. Yes, you want that. And even if you ask Steven 200 times, if he's not feeling that, then it's pointless. You're wasting your time. You might as well look for somebody else who's going to give you what you want, because it seems Steven is not feeling you that way. After her chat with Steven, she then went and sat down with Bellow because, she wanted to know where she stands. I think because she had been in the bottom, she was trying to find someone to sort of say, okay, I'm all about you. Next time I'll fight for you. So they were having this conversation, wanting to discuss their connection. And suddenly you had Dom move closer. And as soon as she moved closer, you had Bellow's attention shift. Everybody can see that Dom and Bellow, there is something there, whether it's just physical or whatever, there is something there that they both stop and sort of think twice before they speak to someone. And the way they're very comfortable kissing one another in front of every single person should tell you that their connection is stronger between the two of them than with anybody else. Anyway, they all sit down to have their supper, and just before the supper, you have, Stephen say, "Let's do the flower ceremony," because they had painted these flower pots. First up was Bello. It was interesting because as this ceremony was going on and people were passing their sort of plants to their connection or their strongest connection, people were getting answers as to am I number one or am I number two in this connection. So first up was Bello. He made a pot with Mexico and he gave it to Dom because he said, Dom likes to travel, and so this is why I've done that for her. Dom gave Bellow a pot with sort of skyscraper saying the sky is the limit. I was like, that should answer everybody else who's questioning who's their strongest link at the end of the day. You had Carde. Carde gave his to Ashanti. Ashanti gave hers to Carde. Darius gave his to Ashley. Ashley gave hers to Darius. Lauren gave hers to Steven. And I think she did it because she realized that Bellow wasn't feeling it that way. So she was now looking for a plan B since she had fallen out with Vince. Vince, on his part, gave his to Donna, and he had Donna's initial, and it was very cute how he made light of it, because he's always going to put a joke in something. He's never going to sort of be 100% serious, so it was just like side eye. Donna gave hers to Vince, which showed us that they are each other's strongest link. Steven then gave his to two people, and it's like, this is the problem that he has. I think he's very indecisive. I think his strongest connection was Shannon until she sort of started with the theatrics. So he gave his flowers to Lauren and Ashanti, and it's like, why is he doing that? Is he trying not to compete with Vince or what? That didn't make sense. Donna felt some type of way about it because she thought they were growing something, and so for him not to declare that in front of everybody else, she was side-eyeing him, and it's like, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, after the meal, the flower ceremony, you had people sort of go and sit in their groups. You had Vince and the girls sort of playing, what's that called? Jenga. Yeah, it was Jenga, where they were doing the blocks, and he was just trying to be petty and silly. Donna understands his humor. Lauren, I don't think, understands his humor. So she's always looking to be offended by anything he says or does. You had Darius go and sit down with, Ashley and have a chat because she had given him a flower pot with a rest in peace because apparently he always talks about his mom. So she wanted something that represents his mom. And so in her sort of talking head, you had Ashley saying she's worried that Darius might not be genuine. I don't think he's genuine. I think he's putting on a persona, and I think he's waiting until the very end for him to say, well, we don't align on this, so it's not going to work, because I really don't think she's this person. She said he's a man of his word. Do I believe so? I don't know. We'll see. They did speak about their religion and about God, and hey, to each their own. Whatever they believe, if it works for the two of them, amazing. You then had Lauren go on a date with Vince. that date was Oxcalo. I think Vince on his part was actually surprised because he thought they'd ended things. So for her to come there and say, I know we're getting to the very end, but I think we can still grow this. We can still work on it to see if we can get something stronger, something that will last longer. And so for her to pull out her phone, because you had Vince say to her, when you see your friends, can you apologize to them on my behalf and say, I hope one day we'll get to meet. And for her to pull her phone out and say, okay, let me phone her. And then she phones her friend and passes him the phone. That was awkward. I love that Vince was very sort of mature, emotionally intelligent about the whole situation, the way he took responsibility for his actions, the way he apologized. And so he didn't make a big deal. He didn't refuse to speak to them. I think for him, he was just saying, okay, let me just do this to appease her. Not because it meant anything, but I think with Lauren, she had a motive behind that. You then had 2 days for me that were Oxcalo because you had Ashanti meet up with Bellow and you had Carde meet up with Dom because both were saying, we feel like we're a second option to our connections and we want clarity. So on the date with Bellow and Ashanti, this is what I think. I think Bellow, if it's to have a long-term relationship, he sees himself with someone like Ashanti. I think if it's to be hot and heavy, he sees himself with someone like Dom. I don't think he sees a long-term relationship with Dom. Yes, they might agree on a lot of things, but because she's older, I don't think he sees something long-term with her. I think this is why he continues to entertain Ashanti and he tries to sort of reassure her and make sure she understands how he feels. Because if he was serious, you can tell he's serious about Ashanti, I think, but the pull and the strength that's coming from Dom is overwhelming for him because he says Dom is what he normally dates. And if he was just playing around, he would have also entertained Lauren, but he hasn't entertained Lauren. So the idea that he was trying to reassure her and comfort her and make sure she understood where he stands, I personally don't know. Do I see it lasting? I don't think so. I think it's a matter of time before he's sucked in and he sort of goes with Dom and it doesn't work out. So I can't wait to see the final episode. With Carde on his date with Dom was because Carde was saying he felt like a third wheel when it comes to the Dom and Bello situation. He felt like he was on the outside looking in. So he did try to sort of express that I was trying my best, but I know it wasn't good enough because at the end of the day, I felt your pull to Bello was stronger. Everyone can see that, including production. So for him to sort of have that date and discuss that, it was just reaffirming what we all can see. Anyway, after the dates, you then have, the girls meet up with Tommy, and because they are empowered to decide who they feel is not ready for love. The girls then sat down and sort of started talking. And so you had, first was Donna. Donna said, Vince prioritizes her. He makes sure she's okay. He always checks in with her. So she's happy with him. And I think because of that, this is why Lauren decided to step in and he said, yeah, he does. He apologized to my friends because he knew how important it was to my friends. He called my friends. And it's like, he didn't call your friends. You called your friend and passed him the phone. And I think Donna knows that because this is why she says he's always honest and upfront with everything. And I think as soon as that finished, he must have run and phoned Donna and told her this is what happened on the date. And you had Ashley say Darius is intentional. He promised a mink coat and she has it. At the moment, her car is not working. So he gave her, his car. And it's like, he just wants to be on the show. He wants a good edit. That's it. Anyway, apparently Bellow stood on business. This was according to Dom. Yes, he has been very vocal and very loud about how he feels about Dom. All the other girls, not so much. You had Ashanti say they went on a date, which was very good. And they feel their connection is growing. And I think this agitated Dom. This is why she lashed out at Lauren later on. You had, the girls say the guys they were not feeling Carde, they feel he's shallow, he's not willing to dig deep. Vince, you had some of the girls say he's a no-no, and it's like even if you say he's a no-no, someone is happy with him, so you don't really need to like him. And then because of the conversation that the girls had before, where Lauren spoke out about her connection with Bellow and how she felt like, he wasn't prioritizing her and he was sort of subdued when his other connections were around. The moment Steven's name came up and the girls were saying, you know, he has multiple connections, and she tried sort of, Lauren tried to speak up on Steven's behalf. You had Dom say, "Oh, I didn't even know you had a connection. I didn't know there was something there between you." And it's like, everyone can see that this girl is trying. Why are you going after her, man? And I think because Dom is the more dominant sort of personality in the group, this is why Steven found himself in the bottom. Otherwise, had they not put him in the bottom, it was most probably going to be Vince. So it is what it is. I personally feel like Darius should have gone home. I've said it before and I'll say it timeless and time again. Darius should have gone home. The girls were asked by Tommy, who do you think is not ready to love? And they decided who they felt was not ready to love. So you had Cardi meet up with Ashanti, and you had Lauren meet up with Stephen. It was really sad because I think Cardi knew he was going home. I think the moment things fell apart with Dom, he realized he was going home. So he wasn't surprised when the girls told him he wasn't ready to love. Do I think his person was on the show? No. I think a lot of people slipped up when they let Nicole go, and he could have had something with Nicole as compared to most of the other girls who seem to be on the show just for the celebrity that comes with being on reality TV. Stephen, I think, was taken aback. I don't think he expected to go home, but he was also told he's not ready to love. So two guys were dumped. You had Cardi and Stephen. Stephen, I personally don't understand why he was dumped because he had multiple connections. He did. And they seemed to be making an effort to grow his connections. So I'm pleasantly surprised that he was told he was not ready to love because they said he's got multiple connections and he's not sort of making it known who he really likes. Lauren was upset at the idea that, you know, she was called out that we didn't know that you're dating this guy or you're exploring anything with him. And I think this is why she sort of wanted to cry as well. So I can't wait to see who the final are. Apparently next week, the guys get to introduce the girls to their family and it's going to be dramatic. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 9. Bye everyone.